All right, welcome back to the Speak Your Piece podcast. My name is Ian McNaughton. Pleased to be joined once again for the first time in over a month, SYP creator Scotty K. Scotty, what's happening, big guy?
Oh, I'm back. I'm excited to be back. It's going to be a fun podcast. Some serious topics here as well, but I'm honestly excited to be back. It's going to be good to chat and good to catch up with you. I haven't talked to you in like months.
I know it's been a while. It's been too long. Thank you for bringing the drip to this podcast. Wearing a Notre Dame hoodie and a Seahawks toque isn't quite that, but you're bringing. Is that Arc'teryx, by the way?
No, Patagonia.
Patagonia, of course.
Better known as Patagucci. So, yeah, it's
that sounds like a suburban white kid thing to say, Patagucci instead of Patagonia, but that's just me.
I was always against buying Patagonia, and I guess I succumbed to the peer pressure. I don't know.
No, Patagonia is nice.
Patagonia is very nice, actually. This is probably the best sweater I've ever owned.
The reason I said Arc'teryx at first is because now there's an Arc'teryx store at Metrotown here in Burnaby, and it was the lineup was like going like two stores like the other direction.
I believe it. I believe it. Arc'teryx is like legit. They have some good stuff in there.
I figured it was just climbers, but it was actually like old people and everyone was going to Arc'teryx.
Arc'teryx is some of the nicest jackets, like the Gore-Tex, you name it, worldwide. They're arguably some of the best for sure.
So we're recording this on Remembrance Day, Veterans Day, November 11th. Big shout out to all veterans, everybody who, former member of the military, still active member of the military. Thank you for doing what you done or doing. So you have allowed us to do what we're doing.
Yep. It
wouldn't be possible without you guys. So big shout out to veterans, members of the military. It's greatly appreciated what you do. It's like you said, it's a bit of a touchy show today.
Yeah, a little bit.
But we got some interesting stuff near the end, I think.
Yep.
We're gonna be talking mostly hockey. We got a little bit of entertainment on stock as well. Do you want to start with the Blackhawks stuff first?
Yeah, I think we should. That's the most. I'm not sure if you've talked about it in previous pods. I don't think you have, but
not really. I figured you and I should at least be doing a medium to deep dive on it, mostly because we're two white males who obviously know how to talk about hockey. There's a bit of there's a whole thing about power struggle and white males and hockey in general. I've had this discussion in my employer with the Everett Silvertips as well. I don't know if you've had this conversation with your employer or at school about just people in power and all this sort of stuff. And I think also now it's a decent time to talk about it because I don't know if there's going to be any. I mean, maybe there's breaking news tomorrow that kind of ruins the podcast and what we're up to. But I think it's a bit cool as cool can be in the Blackhawks stuff. Obviously, since you and I last talked, Kyle Beach has come out as John Doe 1 in the Brad Aldrich lawsuit. I don't know if you saw John Doe 2's mother give an interview with Rick Westhead at TSN.
I saw that as well.
That was disturbing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what you're gonna say, but how are you feeling and your thoughts towards the whole Blackhawks situation?
It's again, as everyone said, and it's very obvious. It's a terrible situation, and it's really unfortunate that Kyle had to go through that, and that there was no response at the time. And the fact that it came up 11 years after the fact, to me, it's ridiculous. Like, this is something that should be handled right away on the spot, and it's totally unacceptable behavior on the part of Brad Aldrich. And the fact that he got his name removed from the cup, good. I'm happy. He doesn't deserve to be in the cup. There's no reason for him to be there. Like, all the work he did, whatever good or bad, whatever it was, erased with this incident that happened. And the Black. Also, I will say that the handling of the whole the situation hasn't been ideal from every party, which is really unfortunate to see. Some players are very supportive of Kyle, and again, I just want to commend him for his courage and for coming out as the first of potentially a few more victims. And it takes a lot to do that. And I have, it's very, that type of thing is very hard to talk about, and it's a very hard thing for him to come out and display that courage and be there. And the fact that people were supporting him throughout the whole thing, I think is really cool. Um, but yeah, like I said before, horrible situation, and I really hope he's doing what he can and people are helping him the best way he can. And as the NHL, I hope the NHL is doing their thing to help prevent these things from ever happening again to anyone. Doesn't matter who it is, wherever you play, doesn't matter.
You touched on about how difficult of a thing this is to talk about. And I think that's important throughout all of this, is having, like, it's an uneasy conversation, but it's a conversation you have to have.
Yeah.
Not just with your friends, you should have that with your friends, but even your family, coworkers, just people you know. That's kind of been one of my things, is, being open and honest with people about this sort of stuff. It's, like you say, too bad that it took too long for this to be open, instead of just, everybody shoving it under the rug like they did 11 years ago. Now it's finally coming to fruition and coming to light, which it shouldn't, but it is. And the same with John Doe 2, the Michigan high schooler who got sexually assaulted by Brad Aldrich in 2013. Like, that should have come out then. It didn't. And here we are. Since then, the Blackhawks have fired Stan Bowman. The Panthers have fired Joel Quenneville as their head coach. Mark Bergevin keeps his job. He was I don't know. I think he was director of player personnel for the Blackhawks at the time in 2010. Kevin Cheveldayoff was the assistant general manager. He's keeping his job in Winnipeg. I don't know if you got a chance to see either the interviews by the NHL from Bettman and Bill Daly, or the Kevin Cheveldayoff interview. Mm-hmm. I found it remarkable, the lack of empathy from the NHL, from their perspective on this whole thing.
Yeah, very scripted, and there's no nothing at all. Again, same, Kevin Cheveldayoff was a little bit better, but the one that really hit me was Mark Chipman's interview.
Yeah,
that was the one that really caught my attention, is that there's not really any involvement. He's not really that involved, but the fact is he truly cares about a player in his league. And again, as an owner, it's their job to make sure the league is running properly and everything's done. And his interview really struck me as like, okay, this guy cares. This is what the kind of response we expect and want to see out of an owner, out of anybody associated with the NHL and the situation.
He showed some sort of compassion, which is not absolutely anything we had seen outside, like from the NHL or the Blackhawks leading up to that point, which was disturbing.
Absolutely.
Where we go from here, the lawsuit is still continuing between Beach and the Blackhawks. I'm not sure how long that's going to be tied up in litigation for. I think
it tends to be a long time, which is important.
Could be a long time. I don't know if they're going to settle, have an agreement of some sort, but who knows? Mm-hmm. It's a terrible thing. At least they're trying to make some changes, it feels like, in the NHL, albeit too little too late, and not really enough, but
not yet, at least
not yet. And they're it's how do I put this? It's recognizing that it's a problem, but more from a PR standpoint than actually somebody getting hurt or somebody facing emotional trauma from this. Okay. Which that's really sad and really bothersome as a hockey fan, seeing how these people who run the league treat people and victims of sexual abuse and sexual assault and even rape in some cases. Yeah. I know there have been people who have been talking about Bettman possibly getting fired, leaving as commissioner.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think this is going to be the thing that takes him. I think he's going to leave on his own terms.
I agree with that as well.
If this is something that he wants to resign over, great. I don't think he is, but it's
a weird, again, he did, I don't know how to explain this properly, but he did the bare minimum to look like he cared and he showed compassion, and he did the bare minimum of handling the situation correctly. There's a lot more he could have done as a commissioner of the NHL, and even Bill Daly had, as the vice deputy, he did the very bare minimum to get by and to just, I don't want to say push past it, but
he at least he acknowledged it.
Yeah, acknowledged it. Yeah,
and said it was bad, and that was about it.
That was about it. Yeah, like I said, the bare minimum of what he could have done. And like you touched on a bit earlier about taking further steps and more direction in moving in the right direction in terms of handling these type of situations and sexual assault cases, and even just abuse or whatever it looks like. He didn't do much, and again, I'm hoping the league takes more steps in this direction of, okay, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure this doesn't happen again, whether it be sexual assault, whether it be domestic abuse, whether it be, you name it, whatever it might be, got to be handled correctly, and the NHL has enough money, enough power to be able to do this. So
it's a matter of want. Yep. And right now it doesn't seem like they want to do that. And kind of the same from the Blackhawks too. This seems like something they're being forced to do, which I guess in a way they are, because they're feeling PR scrutiny. But this should also be something that you want to do to provide support and help wherever you can. And I don't feel like the Blackhawks nor the NHL really want to do that. Because I'm sure there's going to be another case like this that pops up in the future. I believe even Pittsburgh and Bill Guerin are dealing with something. I should know more, but I don't know more. I don't know as much as I should on it. I believe there's some lawsuit going around there. I'm at a loss for words just because I don't know what else there needs to be said except for just do better. You should want to do more, and you should want to do better. You should be striving to do that, not just passing by and just barely floating.
Agreed. No, 100% agreed. There's, like I said earlier about, giving the bare minimum. There's so much more Bettman could have done. Mm-hmm. So much more the league can and should and hopefully will do in the coming future, and with making sure the league is a safe place for everyone. Doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how old you are. I don't care. Like, the league's got to do better in a lot of ways, but this is at this point, the most important way they have to do better is making it a safe place for everyone.
And making hockey is for everyone, not just a slogan, but like a real thing.
A real thing, yeah.
Like a legit, like we actually mean, like we're not just saying this as a marketing campaign. Like we actually truly believe in this, and actually want to enforce this.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you've seen the Scotiabank commercial with PK Subban and
oh yes, yeah.
You seen that one? Yeah. That commercial, that was probably the first commercial that I saw that it wasn't just, this is a marketing thing. Like, they actually mean this. This actually has some substance behind it.
It feels genuine that they actually want to make it.
Very genuine, and I think I have it saved on my phone on Instagram, and I watch it every once in a while. I'm like, damn, this is like an unreal commercial, like as good as it gets for like commercials. That's from Scotiabank, so shout out to Scotiabank for that one. That was good stuff. I was really impressed with that.
Other takeaways before we move on here. Yeah. I mean, the Blackhawks are going to find a new GM and coach, you would think, at some point.
Yeah. Well, they just fired Colleton.
They just fired Colleton.
FYI, viewers, was not involved with the Kyle Beach situation, but the Blackhawks are off to a terrible start after signing all these players. Anyways, not the point, but
not the point, but they're going to have some sort of organizational change. Now, the Wurtzes are still going to own the team, but this is a team that I would have to imagine is going to have quite a bit of organizational change. Maybe even the logos, the jerseys, whatnot. Like it just feels like this is as good of an opportunity as any to change the organization and to fix any mistakes or any problems that you think
it really is.
it.
Yeah, it really is.
Including sexual assault and any domestic violence or that sort of thing. This is a great opportunity to fix it. Trying to end on a positive here. There's more that we can do. It's shitty what happened. I obviously feel a lot of sympathy for Kyle Beach because I was a big Kyle Beach fan when he played for the Everett Silvertips in junior hockey. I grew up loving Kyle Beach because I thought this guy was like a star and he was going to be a great NHL player. And
he was drafted 13th overall, I believe, or 12th overall. Yeah, mid first round,
lottery pick.
Yeah,
and I was like, this guy's going to have a real good chance to succeed in the NHL at me at 8 or 9. I'm like, I think this guy could be really good. And he really just never got the opportunity to be a successful NHL player. That being said, there is room to improve and grow, and it's on us. Scott and I, fans of SYP, it's on us to make hockey for everyone, and not make it not just a marketing campaign. So,
I like it.
Yeah, should we talk about another negative thing with Bob Murray first?
Let's obviously this sort of kind of ties in. It's a similar type of situation. Bob Murray, Anaheim Ducks general manager, has been not fired but relieved of his duties. He's stepping down as the general manager and executive vice president of hockey operations of the Anaheim Ducks for his, I'm going to say potential involvement, but likely involvement in a domestic abuse case.
I thought it was just his conduct within the team.
It might be just pure conduct, improper treatment of
staff,
players. As a Ducks fan, it's unfortunate. I had a good chat with a couple friends of mine last night, and they asked me, because this is fairly recent. This is from
within the beginning of this week, I think.
This is a developing story and has like Ian said, been going for a couple of days now, and we talked it's one of those things. The Ducks have been, for the most part, a fairly successful team since I was born, since the year 2000. They've 2 Stanley Cup Finals, 1 Stanley Cup win, consistently in the playoffs. For the last few years, that hasn't been the case. But again, Bob Murray's been a big part of, especially in the 2010s, he's been a big part of it. And the fact is, he comes off as someone that kind of like, what's his name? Chicago GM during the Bulls run.
Jerry Krause.
That's the one, Jerry Krause. Very much does anything he wants to win, but doesn't matter how he treats people. We'll get results. And sure enough, they got results.
It's my way or the highway type thing.
My way or the highway. And Bob Murray comes off as that kind of person. And unfortunately, that rubs people the wrong way. And I think this is purely speculation, but again, I think some of that, I want to win at no cost at all, whatever cost. It eventually became an issue with players and staff, that there was some treatment of players and, like I said, staff that was not up to par at all. And this is why this has happened. I think it's time for a change in Anaheim. Personally, he's been around for a long time, and again, if this gets him out, this gets him out. So
I wonder if it had something. Remember, I can't remember how many years ago it was now because COVID's just ruined my timing on everything. But remember when he went behind the bench as the interim coach when they fired?
They fired Randy Carlyle. Yeah,
Randy Carlyle. Is that how long ago we're talking about?
The second time, yeah.
Second time, and I wonder if that had something to do with it. And from what I've heard or from what I've seen from Anaheim, you and I haven't chatted about this before this show, but it sounds like this isn't really a surprise from people who cover the Ducks or the sources. It sounds like this is oh yeah, that sounds about right for this guy.
Yeah, it kind of tracks with what his reputation is, and like I said off the top of this, this topic is that yes, he's a proven winner. He's had lots of success in Anaheim, but again, at what cost does he do it at? And that's the real question here. And I'm very intrigued to see, because the initial investigation just the investigator recommended him just be stepped down from his duties. I'm interested to see the full investigation and see what really really happens and has really happened in the organization. So yeah.
Now he has joined substance abuse. He joined the NHL substance abuse program.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I would say by that, there is some concern for alcoholism or drinking. Yep. I don't know about drinking on the job or per se or anything like that.
Right.
But and not to say like that justifies it as an excuse for any of his actions. That isn't.
Yep.
But hopefully, to some extent, he can get his life back together and fix whatever issues, whatever's bugging him or whatever's plaguing him, alcohol-wise or substance abuse-wise. And hopefully he finds peace with himself, because there's no reason to be a curmudgeon old man. Nobody wants to be around that. Nobody wants to hang out with that. Nobody wants to work with you when you're the curmudgeon old man who's just yelling at the old man yelling at a cloud. Nobody wants to be around that.
No, nobody.
But hey, I mean, everybody seems to want to be around the Anaheim Ducks right now because they're doing pretty good this year.
Because they're very good. There's a few mailbag questions on that, so I'll talk about that later.
All right.
But let's talk about Eichel.
You want to talk about the Eichel trade now?
I think we should. That was probably, outside of the Kyle Beach situation, probably the biggest headline of the month, of the last couple of weeks since we last potted, maybe.
When did that happen? Because my timing on that is so out of sync with did it happen a week ago? It was
Thursday or Friday last week. Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
So let's break the trade down for you. So Jack Eichel and a conditional third round pick, are going from Buffalo to Las Vegas in exchange for Alex Tuch, Peyton Krebs, a first round pick, and I believe a conditional third round pick.
I'm just pulling it up on ESPN now, just so
you got it, yeah.
For sure. This is really fun when we Google stuff during the middle of a podcast. The return for Buffalo is Peyton Krebs, Alex Tuch, a future first-round draft pick, and a future second-rounder. Vegas will also get a third-round pick. If Vegas' first-round pick in 2022 is not a top 10 selection, the Sabres will get a 2022 first-rounder and a 2023 second-rounder, with Vegas getting a 2023 third-rounder. If Vegas' first-round pick is a top 10 selection, Buffalo will get a 2023 first-rounder and a 2024 second-rounder, with Vegas getting a 2024 third-rounder. No salary retained in the deal. What were your initial thoughts when you saw the Eichel move?
Vegas won the trade by a landslide, especially with no salary retained. That, to me, that was scratch that. Say even without salary retained, Vegas still wins this trade by a lot.
Yeah.
Eichel's far and away the best player in the trade. Peyton Krebs will be very good. I have full confidence in him. Alex Tuch will be pretty good. Alex Tuch is pretty good at this point, but he's no Jack Eichel. He's no game-breaking 1C like Jack Eichel is. And Vegas needed a first-line center, and they just got him.
Can I just say, is it fair to say that Jack Eichel, when healthy, is a top 5 player in this league? Is that a bit of a reach?
That's a bit of a reach.
Okay.
The key you said is when healthy, and he hasn't been doing that a lot. That's been his big issue.
But here's my thinking. I agree with. I think Vegas won the deal, but I don't think it's as lopsided as some people are making it. I still think for what Eichel is right now, health-wise, I think that's a pretty fair return.
Right.
With that being said, this is Jack Eichel, he's not healthy or hasn't been consistently healthy, and he's played on the Buffalo Sabres.
Mm-hmm.
He's played he's played in the, dare I say, dumpster fire of the NHL for the last 5 years.
Yeah, I would say almost even longer. But yeah, the last 5 years.
And let's see how he does on a good team
like the Vegas
Yeah.
Golden Knights.
True.
Like that dude. I don't think there's anybody who comes close to McDavid, but he might get up to like the McKinnon Matthews tier right below, Draisaitl tier right below him.
I think that's a fair statement. That's a very, I 100% agree with that. There's a world, especially with the players he's going to be playing with now. I look at this Mark Stone, Eichel, Pacioretty line.
Yeah.
This is a top 5 line in the NHL. Automatically, right away, without even having played together at all. Stone and Eichel on the same. Oh, dude, stupid.
It's literally like a video game where you just like add.
It kind of is. It actually is. Like Vegas's forward depth, they lost Tuck and Krebs and some draft capital, but again, that forward group, and then you've got the defense core that you've got. 2 of those guys are in Canada's Olympic team, Theodore and Pietrangelo. And you've got Alec Martinez, who's no slouch. Braden McNabb's one of the more physical defensemen in the NHL. And then Nick Hague and Zach Whitecloud are your defensemen.
I was gonna say we talked like in the preview we boasted about how good Vegas is compared to everybody else.
And this was before Jack Eichel. This was before anything.
Yeah.
And now Chandler Stevenson is a third line center, which is where he should be, and he's a above average 3C. With Eichel being an elite 1, and then Carlson as your second line. This team's loaded. This team's so loaded. And sure, they may not have a draft pick for a couple years, and they haven't had one for a couple years in the first round. But who cares when your team's this good?
It's cup or bust, baby.
It honestly is, especially in the division they're in, weaker than most. However, this is what we got to talk about later as well, is that this division has been, dare I say, thrown in the blender.
Well, the Sharks decided they wanted to be good this year. I think I just saw the Kings beat Ottawa. Well, beating Ottawa is
the Kings shut out Ottawa.
Because Ottawa shouldn't be playing hockey right now. I'll just say that with their COVID cases, they shouldn't be playing hockey right now.
True. And also, the Ducks are beating your Kraken. By the way, this is why we did this podcast tonight, because my Ducks are playing one of Ian's teams, the Seattle Kraken, tonight.
And I can't watch the game because it's not on cable.
You got to go Sports Surge.
Oh, are you illegally streaming stuff? Is that what you're doing now? Wow,
no.
I can't believe you're.
Why would I do that? Why would I ever stream things illegally?
So pretty much, here's the thing. So going back to the Eichel trade, I do think that's actually not a bad return.
It's not. You're right.
For like, it depends on how you feel about Peyton Krebs, and Krebs tore it up last year in the bubble season in the WHL in 20 games. Take that for what it's worth.
He was also very effective in the World Juniors last year.
Very effective in the World Juniors. Came on like he's got an injury history. That's why he slid in 2019 was because of his injury history.
Yeah.
Alex Tuck, I think, is really good. He's from Syracuse, I believe. So upstate New York.
Upstate New York, yeah.
Local guy. Sounds like he wants to play for the Sabres. He's also got like not a long term, but he's got like 3 years left on his contract. Like he's not somebody that the Sabres are having to like, they have cost certainty and there's a guy that they don't have to worry about signing. Like it's like we got him for $5 million for the next 3 years. Sure. Why
and like I said, he's no slouch. Alex Tuck's a good player. And I think he was playing on a Vegas team that was loaded, and he wasn't in the right spot where he should have been. I believe he's a top 6 winger or a middle 6 center.
Middle 6 at the bare minimum. He's a middle 6 forward. He's a bare minimum.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, he's the kind of guy that on a team like Buffalo, he's at this point almost a veteran, so he can provide some experience and some size. He's a big guy. He's like 6'4".
Yeah.
So
I'm curious to see how Buffalo does with the draft capital. Because I remember some point during COVID, they fired like a significant amount of their scouts. Like, I don't think the Sabres have a WHL scout.
Really?
I don't think so. I'm going to pull that up again just to be sure. But I remember hearing that the Sabres don't have a WHL scout, yet they took Dylan Cousins however many years ago.
Well, that's a good pick, I think. Cousins is a great player.
Cousins is good. But that's what I'm really interested to see with this Sabres team is how they draft guys. because they have not been the greatest team. They currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 10 scouts
It's
on
not
their
that
website.
many. That's really not that many for an NHL team.
And that includes that does not include director of player development, 2 development coaches, a skating development coach, and a goaltending development coach.
Right.
That's 10 scouts seems like not nearly enough to be a successful scouting team, especially during a rebuild. But what do I know?
Yeah.
I'm
it's not enough either way. I think the Vegas did still win the trade.
Yeah.
But the Sabres got some good pieces back, especially I believe Krebs is a good player and Tuch's a good player. Krebs will be a very good player in this league for a long time. And I like the return. If Vegas still wins it, but I like the return.
So that's kind of our 2 cents on the Jack Eichel trade. Does it make Vegas I don't think it makes them the best team in the West, but it should at least surge them to a playoff spot.
Oh, I think I mean, the record right now doesn't speak that way, but they're going to turn it on, especially when Eichel gets back healthy. That team's going to be scary.
Which he should be healthy. He was saying, I think 3 months he'd be.
So back. Like February, March, expect him back.
I would love, I don't think he will, but I would love to see him return for Team USA at the Olympics. Basically, like somebody, if that happens, somebody has to do like a meme of like a Royal Rumble video. And It's like Jack Eichel. It's Jack Eichel's music. And then everybody just stops at what they're doing in the ring and sees that it's Jack Eichel. It's like, oh shit, Jack Eichel's here for Team USA.
He's here, yeah.
Shit's changing. What other hockey things did you want to discuss here?
I mean, I know in your last pod you talked about some of the unexpected teams, that have come out of nowhere to surprise people. And I mean, I'll just quickly bat off a few that I've been kind of surprised with.
Sure.
I'll just rumble off like 6 here: Calgary, Anaheim, San Jose. I mean, basically all of California, Los Angeles as well. And then I'll even throw in like Detroit. Yeah, Detroit's been really good. And Buffalo, who have kind of cooled off a bit, but they started out pretty hot.
You know what team I was surprised with how they started? Columbus.
That was another one I was going to say. Yeah, Columbus too.
Columbus and you know what player? Speaking of Columbus, you know what player? So earlier today, Thursday,
yes.
I was in the mall getting my phone and watching the replay of the Toronto Philly game on Wednesday.
Right.
And you know what player really stood out to me for the Flyers was Cam Atkinson.
Cam Atkinson.
I mean, Philly is like they're, as we record this, 6-3-2.
That's okay.
They're not bad, but like Philly as a team didn't really like impress me. Like I thought they were fine, but the guy I really like was Cam Atkinson because it's like that dude works hard. That dude went to the dirty areas. He went to the front of the net. He was making Campbell's life miserable. One of the few guys who was.
Yeah. He's a hell of a hockey player. Cam Atkinson is
really fun to watch. So that dude I was pleasantly surprised to see.
Yep. Actually, I'll talk about this player. Yeah, I have some mailbag questions that I'll talk about some certain players on a certain team that I happen to have a liking towards. So,
my Seattle Kraken, not great so far this season. Not totally surprising, but definitely disappointing. The Arizona Coyotes, not great either.
No, they have 3 points as of Thursday afternoon all year. They have 1 win and 1 overtime loss.
Yep.
That's bad. That's very bad.
Also not great when that 1 win is against the Kraken.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh boy. Hey, at least the Wings are doing well.
Red Wings have been fun, even though tonight they lost to one Zachary Fucale.
Are you serious?
They did 2-0. They got shut out by Fucali.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say, aside from that unfortunate happening, Lucas Raymond, Moritz Seider have actually been like kind of nasty. We talked about this a little bit, but Raymond is actually sick. I don't know if people see him play, but he's just on it, and he's a little smaller guy, but he gets in there and he plays, man.
I do have tickets to watch the Red Wings when they come to Vancouver. I'm gonna be so pissed if both Raymond and Sider aren't playing that game.
That would be unfortunate. I think they're in the lineup full time though at this point.
Oh no, but if like injuries or something. Or
whatever. Yeah. When is this game?
March.
Oh, okay. That's a long time. They'll be back. They'll be there.
They'll be good. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, I mean, I kind of like how the Blues are playing.
Yep.
I mentioned that on the last podcast. Jordan Binnington still acting full heel, which you almost have to appreciate. Yeah, your Ducks are doing good. The Oilers.
We'll get into them later. Don't worry.
The Oilers are making me look like idiots.
The Oilers are legit.
Are they legit though?
Remember, my roommate's an Oilers fan, so I gotta be careful with what I say here. But no, for real, the Oilers actually are. They're nice.
I'm surprised.
They actually are a wagon, but
I'm surprised. When I went to Edmonton and how many people told me that the Oilers were winning the cup. I'm surprised how many of those people are now true. They are now. They're not full of shit. Those people are actually accurate.
They have a legit shot. I mean, they do have to get by the Golden Knights now. But
okay. So with the Oilers, like they just need goaltending. I mean, yeah. I would love it if they added another defenseman who wasn't Duncan Keith. But if they had like a real legitimate number one goalie, I would have a lot more confidence in them.
So would I. But again, they're getting enough goaltending and they're scoring the lights out. Also, Evan Bouchard's been impressive. I've liked his game just on the few games I've seen from the Oilers.
Evan Bouchard's good. Mikko Koskinen.
We watched him at World Juniors, by the way.
We did.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, it's nice to see for myself personally. It's nice to see the Red Wings doing really well, but it's also as disappointing seeing the Kraken kind of flop like they have.
Yep.
That's all I'll say about that. I got some entertainment notes that I want to discuss with you.
Sure, let's hear
it. Travis Scott Astroworld.
Yeah.
That was weird hearing that, but then also seeing videos of him like still performing while people are like trying to save lives.
There's, I've got two opinions on this, and again, I haven't seen a whole lot of clips. I haven't seen a whole lot of things, but there's two ways I look at this. The first way I'm gonna say I look at it, and this is how I've looked at it before. When you go to a Travis Scott concert, you have to expect that it's going to be an absolute riot. So you have to go in there prepared for shit to happen.
Especially in the mosh pit.
Exactly. And I actually have a dream. One day I do want to go to a Travis Scott concert at a mosh pit and be in that atmosphere of it. So you got to expect it. Another thing I'll add to that as well is Travis, although he did continue performing, which don't necessarily agree with. It's again, I guess I'd have to find out more about it before I make a full.
He did refund people's money who did it.
He did. Okay. He did. Yeah. And I know he's paid for the funerals of the 8 people that died.
Yeah.
Which is also a very nice gesture. He also he knew something was up. He was clearly pointing in the crowd and telling like security to get in there or the security and medics to get in there. Based on the clips that I've seen. He was making an effort to because he knew something was up, but again, it's hard. How do you know when you're up there and you see thousands of people in a sea of people? How do you know what's really happening? You can't really.
I couldn't see people. I wear glasses, and with all those flashing lights and everything, I couldn't see fucking shit. So good thing he can.
Well, I'd say yeah. And again, that's to my point as well. It's hard to see that, and he probably he's been done hundreds of concerts worldwide. he probably figured, oh, it's just a kid that's just passed out. You never expect the worst, right?
Yeah. Do you remember the Astroworld like documentary about Travis that came out like pre-COVID?
Oh, of course. I love that.
Didn't they mention this though? Like, didn't they talk about like at the beginning of this documentary how like the Houston PD was like not exactly thrilled with like all these shows because like it causes incidences like these?
Because they deem it incites a riot, which sure, there's a way to look at it that way, and that is somewhat true. And that was actually not in Houston. That was in one of his tour stops in the Midwestern United States. I don't remember exactly where. I'll watch the yeah. Anyways, not the point, but you're right. Like again, it depends how you look at it. I don't know. It's a tough one.
I mean, I think it would be cool going to a Travis Scott concert.
Yeah.
I just don't think I don't think I would go to the mosh pit. I think I would get anxiety being down. I think that would kind of freak me out, like being down there and witnessing all of that. But
in the heat of it all. Yeah.
In the heat of it, literally in Houston, in the heat of it all. But 50,000 people, that's more than the people who are going to Texans games right now. So, you can, Travis Scott is outdrawing a football team. So
I'm not surprised on that, by the way. But
you don't say.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other entertainment story I wanted to share is Justin Bieber and his collaboration with Tim Hortons, including Timbits, which are now being called Tim Biebs.
I swear to you, we have to do Big Eats on this.
I will do a Big Eats.
Good.
Forward
to it.
I'm trying to figure out what the flavors are here. So pretty much it's just, because nowadays marketing is just pairing one celebrity with a brand and just making a bunch of money on it. It doesn't matter if you're actually talented or if you're, how famous you are. You just collab, and that's just how everybody makes money in marketing now. Tim Hortons will roll out the limited edition Tim Biebs Timbits in flavors including chocolate white fudge, sour cream chocolate chip, and birthday cake waffle on November 29th, exclusively in Canada and the US. Which of those flavors, I'll repeat it again, white fudge, sour cream chocolate chip, and birthday cake waffle, which one sounds the most intriguing to you?
The most intriguing is probably the birthday cake waffle. The one I would try the first is the chocolate white fudge. And the one that sounds disgusting is the sour cream one.
See, I think the sour cream chocolate chip sounds good because it's it's like sour cream glazed donuts. That's like the one decent donut at Tim Hortons. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not actual. He's not dipping chocolate chips in sour cream and serving it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think my rankings on this would be sour cream chocolate chip, birthday cake waffle, and then the chocolate white fudge.
I think I also have to see what they look like first before I decide which ones.
I don't know if I can share this on the video portion of the podcast. I don't know if I'm legally allowed to show this, but I'll see if I can pull it up here. But they because they did a whole video on it. Him like writing on whiteboards and him just actually sitting on a table like so here. Let's see if I can. Big E doing technology here.
Actually, I'm looking it up here as well. I'm actually intrigued now. I didn't actually know this. I heard about this
so it looks like this here. As you can, if you can see, I don't know how many, Robert Cornish. He's sitting on a table like this, which is for those who are listening, audio version. He's like not lying down, but lying up on the table in the office.
This man's just chilling. He's got his shoes on a table too. That's a power move right there. Bold
strategy. So I mean, we're definitely big eating this. And for those who don't know, I hate Tim Hortons, but I will definitely big eat this, and we'll see how this goes.
Tell us, give us Cole's notes. Tell us why you hate Tim Hortons.
Service. I feel like they every fifth time I go to Tim Hortons, they botch my order, and they don't really seem to give a shit.
Hey, they're batting 800. That's pretty good.
Pardon?
They're batting 800. That's pretty good.
No, listen, that's your job, is to get the food right. I don't go to Tim Hortons and being like, hey, listen, your on base percentage is like 805. Like, nice job. Like, keep it up. It's like,
So you
no,
comparing it to like goal, like you compared it to like save percentage for hockey.
no, I'm your job is to get my bagel and whatever coffee right the first time, and
Right.
not putting cream cheese on it, putting butter on it, toasting it properly, and not putting hazelnut or whatever in my fucking coffee or French vanilla. McDonald's and Starbucks are far superior to Tim Hortons. Oh, here, this is what they look like, if you can see.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's like, I'm guessing the middle one, we're looking at a photo here. I'm guessing that middle one is like the fudge.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That looks on the left like the sour cream chocolate chip, and that
Yep.
looks like the birthday cake.
Interesting. Okay.
So
Man,
do with that what you will.
that looks pretty good, actually. Not gonna lie.
How often do you go to Tim Hortons? You're in the Okanagan. I feel like Tim Hortons is like a big deal once you get east of Hope.
I guess.
There's not really a Tim Hortons near you, I guess, is there? Or is there one near the hotel?
Yeah, by the hotel. Yeah, there is one.
Okay.
There's a Tim's on campus as well. I've maybe had Wow, I've had Tim's maybe like twice this semester.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, and
You actually follow like a real diet instead of like me, where it's like, ooh, I get to eat meals at the hockey game. Yay! I don't have to.
It's not even that. It's just we're not enough money. I don't have time. I can't spend money on Tim.
Tim Hortons is like fairly affordable though, isn't it?
Yeah, but if I'm gonna go spend my money on food that's not from a grocery store, I'm gonna go and like kind of ball out. Like we'll go to Kelly O's. Their pachos fucking slap. By the way,
I don't know what that is.
Okay, Kelowna viewers, go give Ian shit for not knowing what Kelly O's and pachos is. You have next time you're here, we're going to get pachos.
Sure. I'm
Yes.
not opposed to getting food anytime, anywhere. That goes for any listener, by the way, or any viewer. I'm always down to get food. Should we do our mailbag?
We should do our mailbag. Do you have Rob has questions for us, right?
Yes. Do you want to go through questions, or do you want me to ask them?
I
feel like you usually ask them. I'll ask the three that Rav asked us. You can ask the one that you got.
Sure.
SYP creator Ravisher's got 3 questions for us. He's a busy guy, by the way. Shout out to Rav for spending all of Sunday pretty much with me watching hockey and soccer. First question: will Troy Terry end up having a better career than Lucas Raymond? And I'm gonna say no.
You're gonna say no. Okay.
It's early on.
It's very early. Too early.
It's too early. But if you're gonna ask me who I think has the better career, I think it's Lucas Raymond.
I'm gonna agree with you as well.
And that's not a slight to Troy Terry. Was it Troy Terry at the U.S. Olympic team in 2018?
No, yes, he was actually.
That seems right.
He's a shootout king, by the way. Also, he had 3 shootout goals against Russia in the semifinal 2017 World Junior. And
that sounds right.
He also scored a couple against Canada in their shootout win.
Troy Terry, I'm on his Wikipedia page right now. He has represented the U.S. at both the junior and senior levels. Troy Terry and other collegiate athletes were chosen to play for the U.S. men's hockey team. He recorded 3 assists against Slovakia in their eventual 5-1 win.
Cool. He's legit. Troy Terry.
He's also 24, by the way. Like, isn't he 5 years older than Raymond, anyways?
4. I think he's 4 years older.
4 years.
Yeah, 4 years older. Troy Terry has, by the way, viewers, has a 12-game point streak. I'm not sure if he got a point in this game against the Kraken as well. I'm pretty sure he must have. With 6
I'm willing to bet that he did.
Yeah, with 6 Anaheim goals on the board. That's pretty good for Anaheim.
Yeah, remember last year when they couldn't score for shit, and now this year they're putting up 6?
They there's a few game stretches where they had 6 goals in 3 games.
Yeah.
And they have 6 goals in 1 game, which is good. No, Anaheim's a different team. Anyways, I'll talk about them later. Troy Terry, 12-game point streak. Raymond's going to be a better player, but Terry is going to be an important part of this Anaheim team. He's going to be a really good secondary complementary piece. My comp to him is Tyler Toffoli.
That sounds fair.
With better hands.
Much better hands than Tyler.
Much better hands. Yeah. That's Troy Terry for you.
And Lucas Raymond's better. Rab also asked Sider and Raymond over Kako and Laugh? Question mark.
1,000%.
Here's the thing. Like, this is still early on. Like, this is still a bit of recency bias.
Yeah, it is.
Part of the reason why I mean, not to say that these guys suck, but I think part of the reason why the Rangers haven't been as good as we thought, and they're still pretty good early on, is because of those guys not like they haven't had their Sider and Raymond moments yet. Kako and when you're talking about Kako after year one of or Laugh of well, he's a really good defensive wing. It's like, okay, but that's not why you have Kako or Laugh on your team.
No. Yeah. Lafreniere is projected as a generational, not maybe like an elite talent in this league, and he just hasn't done it yet. And same with Kako. Kako's been.
And I still think they can do it. Probably the duo I would rather have right now is Sider and Raymond.
So would I.
But sure. I think Kako and Laugh are going to be better than Troy Terry. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Well, they will be eventually. Right now they're not, but eventually they will be.
Finally, Rav asks, is there any way Hughes, Miller, and Besser, Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, and Brock Besser all don't make the U.S. team? I feel like Miller would be the odd man out in that situation.
I think.
Because I feel like Besser would get in on reputation. Hughes definitely gets in on reputation.
Miller's played too well and is too important of a, dare I say, veteran leader, important intangibles piece on a team. He's a good net front guy, gets the dirty. He's too important of a player to leave off the American team.
Yeah.
I think all three of them make it. I don't.
Isn't it so cool how Stan Bowman, one of his final things he did before he got fired was named 3 players to Team USA, and 2 of them were his own. I mean, Patty Kane and Austin Matthews, sure, they should make Team USA, but Seth Jones and nice little ego stroke for him before getting fired.
Yeah. There's a couple other defensemen on Team USA. I think Seth Jones still makes the team, but I think there's better players that should have gone in that spot. If you're comparing them to a
Quinn Hughes,
Charlie
McAvoy,
Adam Fox, who just
Adam Fox,
by the way,
Zach Werenski,
yeah. You name it, they should be there.
I don't think I don't think any of those guys are going to get left off the team. But I think if there is somebody who does, it would probably be JT. It was great seeing them play in person.
Right. Oh, I bet. All
those guys are really good. And this comes after them getting their shit kicked in by the Colorado Avalanche tonight.
What was the final score? 6-0?
7-1.
At least they scored. Christ.
Hey, somebody has to get the Avalanche revitalized. So nice of Vancouver to do that.
I guess. I mean, they're out. They're missing McKinnon for a couple of weeks, but
doesn't matter.
I guess it doesn't matter. It's Colorado.
Colorado. You got one question in mailbag.
Yeah, I do have a mailbag question. And actually, this is very funny. Chase Fraser asked, "Why does Troy Terry suck this season?" Well, he can't suck that much. He just scored a empty net goal to make it 7-4 for my Ducks against Ian's Kraken. Troy Terry does not suck. He has a 13 game point streak now. He along with a revitalized Ducks team have been playing quite well. They're 8-4-3 now. And
can I just say there is something to be said for people in Canada who don't like American players?
Yeah. Okay.
Like I feel like there is this Canadian media narrative where it's like, this Troy Terry guy might not be good, but you know who's good? Mikko Koskinen or Duncan Keith. That Duncan Keith guy is still good. It's like, have you seen Duncan Keith play? That guy is shit. That guy's legs are gone.
Yeah, well, they're not what it used to be. You're right. No, you're right. They are gone.
So
You're
that's where I think where it's like, no, Troy Terry's not good because he's an American who plays on Anaheim. But you know who is good? It's Duncan Keith. It's like this is the Canadian media bullshit narrative that people have to like get through or can't get over sometimes. That I'm willing to admit because I'm an American and a Canadian who likes to see it from both sides.
absolutely, yeah, no, for sure. You're a dual citizen, so you're totally unbiased whatsoever.
No, I have no bias whatsoever.
Whatsoever.
I am a fan of both teams. I love Canada and the US.
This is good. That's true. You've told me that before. That is true. I do have another question actually,
Yes.
and it is from Brandon Goff, good buddy of ours.
He's now our senior lax correspondent, by the way. He put that in his Instagram, but he's gonna be doing some Vancouver Warriors coverage for us this year.
Right on. Love to hear it. Anyways, Brandon,
We're stealing Jevin's friends. So Jevin of Left Side Heavy podcast. We're stealing all his
Jevin's sharing his friends with us.
sharing it. Exactly. What does Brando have to say?
He asked me how excited I am about the Ducks right now. So this segue, again, I touched on it briefly. I could spend like hours talking about my Ducks.
I didn't realize this was the Scott Your Piece podcast where you get to talk about your Ducks.
Hey, why not, man? They're good. They're 8-4-3. They're finally good after 3 years of being subpar.
Especially last year. Last year was an atrocity by the end of it.
Atrocity. Yeah, it was an atrocity.
Do you think they're making the playoffs?
No. No. I hope they don't. I honestly hope they don't.
I wonder if there's like a parlay bet that we can make for like Anaheim and Detroit both making the playoffs.
Oh, there probably is.
I think we should get Rav to make that.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the kind of on the Ducks bandwagon because
are you okay?
Because you're the host, right? Like you're part host of the show, so I have to
regular guest, part host. Okay, sure. Anyways, yeah,
you're on this podcast frequently enough that I should be supporting your team because you're supporting my team.
I do. I've hyped you up about the Wings. They're good. So I've been a fan of Sider since he was drafted. But
so pretty much that's kind of where I'm. And yeah, I think I'm working on this theory. Like I'm kind of workshopping it. I haven't fully come to this theory yet, but I feel like there's this theory in the NHL of if you don't start well, then like you're gonna be shit. And it doesn't actually change all that. But the standings don't actually change all that much in the NHL.
Not really, no.
Like whatever you are, like 10, 12 games into year, that's probably more or less like 1 or 2 spot difference. That's probably where you're going to finish for the season. More or less. Anaheim's in a pretty good spot because they have top 5 goalie in the league.
Yep, I definitely agree with that.
So when you have
I would say another thing to add to the goaltending piece is that John Gibson's a top 5 goalie, but also their goaltending as a whole. Stolarz has been very good, by the way, in the games he's played. He was very solid. If
you were to ask me who Anaheim's backup was, I was probably going to tell you Ryan Miller or somebody.
He's now retired. Back retired last year. Anyways, Anthony Stolarz is the new backup of the Anaheim Ducks, and he's been very good. And Gibson the GOAT. So,
listen, you have goaltending, which helps. I think your defense is fine. Dare I say fine?
Fine's the right word for it.
With Fowler, Lindholm, Drysdale, obviously.
Honestly, yeah.
I think
by the way, has taken a big step this year. Drysdale has looked really good.
Yeah.
And I think people saw in the Canucks game the clip of him full out sprint skating up the ice, back down the ice to shut down Miller, and then back up to be in the 3-on-1. Like elite. That's
he's pretty good.
He's pretty good. Yeah.
I think your team actually probably has a good percentage of to make the playoffs. I'm working on my theory right now about that. Whereas I think the Red Wings, they could be a wild card team this year too. I know the Metro is like really fucking
the Metro's loaded.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to beat the 5th place team in the Metro, which is going to have probably they have to get 100 points, most likely.
Which, I mean, they have the goaltending to do it.
Nedeljkovic has been very good. I 100%.
He had one bad game to start the year, and now he's like picking it up. Grice
He was
is
excellent against the Oilers a couple nights ago.
yes.
Albeit there were a few blunders from Stuart Skinner. Still excellent performance from Nedeljkovic for sure.
And their defense is weird. Where like some nights they're scratching Stetcher and putting Danny DeKaiser and Mark Stahl in the lineup.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Mark Stahl is so slow, dude. He is so slow.
Stahl?
Oh, yeah.
Not great. Forward group's not bad though. If they can get enough scoring, I think there's a good chance this team could make a good playoff run.
Their first line's kind of nasty, I gotta say. And some of Detroit's, like, dare I say, prospects, like Rasmussen's taken a step this year.
Veleno.
Veleno's been solid. Zadina's taken a big step, second line, but still he's played solid. And
Tyler Bertuzzi.
dude, that goal against Tampa. Oh.
No, I don't know if I don't want to say he's taken a step because I know that he's always had this. It's just a matter of being healthy and being able to do it for a full season. Yeah. I also
like that line with Larkin and Raymond actually is kind of nice.
It is. It really is.
It really is. Yeah.
I think my biggest concern as a Red Wings fan is just like if we do go on a run here and Bertuzzi can't play in Canada, and that's what cost this team is like 9 games because of the fact that Bertuzzi just can't play in Canada because of COVID. That's maybe one of my bigger concerns. Yeah. Any other mailbag? Any other?
Nope.
No. Do you have anything you want to plug or promote?
Right now, I might have something later, but KJRHL is doing really well. How's
your team doing?
We're 4-0, but
Ooh.
As the commissioner, there might have to be some trades being made, which is unfortunate. I have to potentially send players out, but we'll see what happens.
Are you going to be like David Stern and you're going to be like, no, Chris Paul, you can't play for the Lakers, but you can play for the Clippers?
No, it's not quite like that, but we got to sort out some movement, some player movement potentially, and hope guys show up because there's been issues with guys not showing up with their gear. But anyways, that's an issue for later. But no, honestly, the league's been really fun. It's been good. The guys have been all really good, and it's good hockey. Hockey's really good. You'll have fun when you come up in February to watch.
I can't wait. You can check out my work tomorrow. I'm going to be Friday as this drops. Friday, I'm going to be in Everett covering the Silvertips Tri-City Americans game. You should follow the Silvertips social media. I'm going to be doing all of that Friday night because our intern is out this week. So I'm going to be doing all of that. So catch me in Everett on Friday. I got a couple of articles in the warmer, in the oven, in the cooler that I'm working on here that I'm trying to get out, but it's been a bit painful because communication and just shit going on. So there's some articles that I will be posting here soon. December is going to be a good month. I might have to go to Prince George.
You really? And why would you do that?
Because the Silvertips have 2 games in Prince George on the 27th and 28th of December that I said, if you need me, I'm happy to go.
So it's a big trip.
You're telling me.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I hear Prince George is tropical during the winter holidays.
Oh, yeah, right.
So you can catch me doing Silvertips work, possibly in Prince George in 6 weeks. SYP stuff. We got some stuff planned for December. We're gonna be doing some World Juniors live streams. That's gonna be really fun.
Really fun.
We're going to a game, so we're gonna have some hashtag content from that game. Scott gets to see Troy Terry in person.
I do. I'm very excited for that. I will say.
What if Sam Steele? The last time I went to a Ducks Canucks game, Sam Steele got a hat trick. What if Sam Steele gets another hat trick against the Canucks?
No, that would be good. But you know who I'd rather see get a hat trick? Trevor Zegras. That
would be cool.
That would be sick.
That would be awesome.
I'd love another Ducks win too. That'd be fun.
So we got December plans coming up, you and I.
Yeah.
My next big trip is really Super Bowl. That's really my next big event that we got planned. Super Bowl weekend.
Not bad. That'll be fun. That'll be a good time.
That'll be in Kelowna, British Columbia, just north of West K. That's where we'll be hanging out all Super Bowl weekend. Who's your Super Bowl pick, by the way?
Right now, oh my god. Honestly, Ian, you call me so off guard with that one. I don't even know.
I like by the way, there's like almost NHL levels of parity in the NFL right now.
That's what I've heard. Oh my god, my NFL pick. Man, you put me on the spot here.
I know you're a big football guy too, so this is
huge.
Totally up your alley.
Huge. Viewers, I'm far from a football guy, but
you don't have the body for the football guy. That's the problem.
I really don't, like I'm just not built that way.
Built different, but in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Built different, but in a different way. Man, I don't know. The whole Aaron Rodgers thing in Green Bay is kind of throwing me off.
Do you talk about that in like your health science or whatever class, like in your?
No.
Do you talk about like, oh, this guy listens to Joe Rogan, he must know what he's talking about?
Yeah, of course. No, we don't talk about that. I'm gonna. Man, I don't know. I'm gonna say Tampa Bay, but I'm not confident in that pick.
Big Brady guy over here.
I guess.
Is it because of Scotty Miller, who I think is like what you are, like what you would be if you played football?
I mean, that's
the short white slot receiver.
I did forget about that, but that would be me. Yeah, I'd be a slot receiver. I guess. I mean, maybe we're stealing Jevon's friends, but I'm also friends with Jevon, so I'm a Brady guy, I guess. I don't know.
That's fair.
Veer, are we stealing Jevon's friends? I don't know. Are we?
Short-term borrowing them. Scotty Miller, by the way, 5'9", 174 pounds.
I'm not that small, but
no. And we stand short kings on this podcast, so we're a big Scotty Miller fan.
Yes. Also, speaking of other Scotties, Scotty Barnes. Speaking of Scots, this is a Scott podcast, by the way, because I'm back.
We stand Scots on this podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Scotty Barnes has been really good for the Raptors. He's probably the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, and he probably should, assuming he doesn't get hurt. But
apparently the Raptors are. I don't think the Raptors are good.
They're not great. They lost to the Celtics last night. I watched part of that game.
And apparently the Celtics are not good.
Well, they're missing Jaylen Brown right now. So, and Tatum's been like hit and miss.
I should mention we're doing a basketball podcast with Fuji next week.
Oh, I might have a guest for you. Another guest for you that should join you on that.
We need to do a baseball podcast too, by the way. We should do that at some point.
We also should do that, yes.
That's the podcast for Friday. That's our Friday show. Enjoy. Listen to it while I'm driving down the I-5 corridor for the second time this week.
And the first time you turned all the way back. you showed up just for it to get canceled.
Postponed. But yeah, one of the greatest feelings in the world is when you drive 2 hours only to find that your game's postponed.
That's unfortunate. That truly is unfortunate.
Best of luck to all the Spokane Chiefs players, by the way. I did make it up though. I got Brooklyn Bros pizza. So, not all is lost.
Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Anyone, if you're ever, this is not just Ian. I've been to this pizzeria. If you ever are in Everett and you go hang out with Ian at a Tips game, go to Brooklyn Bros Pizzeria. You will thank me later.
That's our pregame spot.
It really is.
Yeah,
it actually is. That's true.
That's I don't think they have any sort of sponsorship with the Silver Tips. I could be wrong, but anyways, if you ever want to come down to Everett, DM Speak Your Piece or Ian McNaughton, and we'll go to Brooklyn Bros beforehand. Speaking of a company or a restaurant that should sponsor this podcast. Again, thank you very much for listening. We'll be back with one, if not two shows next week. I will also be in Langley next week covering the Silver Tips. So I'm all over the place, baby. Nature is healing. We're back to normal.
Yes.
You'll love to see it. All right. We'll be back soon. Peace out.